Hello, you're watching ESPN Classic, the Dead Good Sports channel. So what does that mean exactly, apart from a large fee for the marketing consultants who came up with the slogan? Obviously, well, being dead isn't a prerequisite of getting onto the schedule, but being good is. And given the size of the archive we've got access to, the qualifying standard is pretty high.
Larry Lloyd has 90 minutes to confirm to Ron Greenwood that he's the right man to take to Italy as Dave Watson's deputy by justifying his recall to the international scene this afternoon after an absence of 8 years. For two Welsh players, the match brings an introduction to that scene. Paul Price, the captain of Luton Town, and David Giles, who left the local club Wrexham for Swansea last November. Mike England, the new Welsh manager, backs his pre-match comments with a positive team selection, which sees alongside the new caps Nicholas Hughes as the fullback and the recall of David Jones, who's been out with injury for 2 years, and Leighton James, who hasn't been selected for 18 months. After the excellent match with Argentina, Ron Greenwood intends to use this home international tournament to use his full squad. And for some, their chance will be crucial. In midfield of today's lineup, Hoddle wins his second cap, and Brooking and Kennedy are paired for only the third time. Curiously too, it's the third time against Wales, but Greenwood has never previously chosen them as a pair. Up front, Paul Mariner wins his first cap for 2 years, and in all there are 4 new faces compared with the 14 seen last Tuesday. The referee this afternoon is Scotsman Ian Foote from Glasgow, and his linesmen are Alan Ferguson and Peter Hanley. It's really a delightful afternoon, although once again, as last Saturday, it's going to be very warm for the players. And England lining up in midfield with Coppell nearest us, then Hoddle, then Brooking, and then Kennedy. Pitch looking really in marvellous nick, in spite of the lack of water. Ray Clements, the England goalkeeper, made his debut against Wales back in November '72. Paul Mariner and David Jones. This is Brian Flynn. You'll have noticed incidentally from the captions that the players are wearing squad numbers. Lloyd, Mariner, Brian Flynn. Nicely forward to Giles. Walsh is in the middle. Thomas is arriving, and uncomprehensibly, or rather comprehensively, brought down by Larry Lloyd. Really very sharp challenge by the New England number 5. Yorath and Giles in conversation. 4 players on the far post. James making an early run. There he is. Played a bit short, and he seemed to go in there with a very casual air, but got quite a lot of power on the header, but well wide. Paul Price backing off as Nicholas takes it. Only to Barnes. Coppell making an angled run into the middle. Hoddle is on the far post, unmarked at the moment. Here's Hoddle! Just couldn't pull it back. But a corner has been given. Neil taken, out by Joey Jones. I think they're going back to the stand. Yorath looking for Peter Nicholas. Walsh wants it early down the middle. Here is Leighton James. Side netting. Didn't really have much of an angle. And given the chance again, I think he might perhaps have pulled it back to Walsh. as he got away on the right side. It bounced kindly for him, but look at Walsh's position compared with James's. Welsh looking for offside, but they weren't really together, moving up. Ray Kennedy, but the whistle has gone for a bit of pulling by Brian Flynn, I think. Larry Lloyd has joined the players on the far post, or in line of the far post. And it was Mariner who tried to go for it, and a corner came off David Jones. Brooking has gone to take the corner. Lloyd has remained up on the near post. Mariner just behind him. Change of angle by playing it back to Cherry. And he's worked space for himself well. And there's Lloyd, and Davies had it, lost it, and Barnes, he had the thump, and Mariner got the last touch. Lloyd causing the problems on the near post, but it's Mariner's goal. Real thump through the crowd. Good work here by Trevor Cherry, because he got himself into space. It was a cross that Di Davies couldn't hold under pressure from Lloyd on the near post. Came out to Barnes, who walloped it, but it was finally, I think, off Paul Mariner. So 16 minutes gone, and number 16 has scored for England. And here's Barnes again. Hoddle coming in, and Nicholas completing the clearance from Price. Yareth. James inside. Here's Brooking. Yareth. Laid for Joey Jones from Walsh, 4 Welshmen in the box, and that's Ray Clement's catch. And Ray Clements drawing the attention of the referee to something before taking the kick. Phil Neal's got a knock on the thigh. Mariner to Hoddle. Finds Kennedy. Slightly mishit that. Last 3 matches between these two sides have produced all possible permutations of results. It was 0-0 at Wembley last year. The year before in Cardiff, England won 3-1. And the year before that, back at Wembley, the Welsh won. Their only success, incidentally, for 25 years. Here's Brian Flynn. Only Walsh left side of him. And now Walsh moving left of the penalty spot, being watched by Phil Thompson. But here is Walsh, and put in by Mickey Thomas. Well, they were watching Walsh, but they didn't mark him. And Mickey Thomas equalises 3 minutes after England went ahead. Move again on the right. It was James's cross. It looked as though they'd covered Walsh, but it came off him and then off Thompson, and set up a very easy chance, although the ball was coming up high for Mickey Thomas. And England, as I suggested, have made the substitution. Kenny Sansom has come on, obviously playing at left back, with Trevor Cherry now moving to right back, and it's Phil Neal who's gone off. There's Sansom. His fifth cap, and he had a fine game against Argentina. James. Flynn. James making the run out to the right. Giles in the middle. So is Edwards. And Walsh, and Walsh puts it in. Ian Walsh again moving away from the cover. What a really good goal. Coming on the half hour, again Leighton James, much involved. Walsh taking the applause of the crowd, but Leighton James deserving a great deal of it. Got to the byline, away from Lloyd's tackle, and Walsh was really unmarked. Two players around him, but neither in a position to jump with him. Lloyd, who ended up on the losing side for England in his last game, which was against Northern Ireland, back in May '72. And no question about the foul, and I think the referee will probably book him for it. He's calling over Larry Lloyd, who dwelt on the ball. Me, us, I'm not quite sure who else he expects the referee to talk to. But he lost the ball in contest with David Giles and then upended him. So not quite the way that Larry Lloyd wanted to mark his return to the international scene. It's good battling by Giles, and Giles gets away, and no question that Lloyd hooked his foot away. Flynn on for Giles. Sansom having to jump to get goal side of him. James again. Flynn. Thomas. Put out by Cherry. For the corner. And the Joneses arriving on the scene from the back. And finally the shot was by Nicholas. And Ray Clements couldn't have had a very clear view of that, but got his body behind it, and it was his body that stopped it initially, I suspect. Again, it was James's cross. Players got up in the middle, came down, the first time shot, but he did in fact get his hands, but he needed a knee as well. And here's Trevor Brooking, and here's Peter Barnes, curling away. Wanted it to come back the other way, but it's got a deflection at the moment that it was struck, and so it's a corner. Played through by Koppel to Brooking. As the man came to Brooking, he immediately played it square, and Barnes' shot got the nick for the corner. It's Koppel who's gone across to take it, and Lloyd has come up for it. Taken comfortably by Davies, an infringement anyway, free kick given against Phil Thompson. England's performance in this first half, as the whistle goes for a free kick against Wales, Leighton James goes to retrieve the ball. I think his performance a little bit reminiscent of the game in Sweden, when Ron Greenwood made a lot of changes. Only 5 players started this match, who started the match on Tuesday against Argentina, and one of those, Neil, has had to go off because of injury. With England playing in Sweden after winning in Bulgaria, were somewhat below par, as they have been in this first half, which ends with the Welsh leading by 2-1, Mariner having scored the first goal for England. And the equaliser coming from Mickey Thomas, who did well to keep a bouncing ball down. And it was Ian Walsh, after some more good work by Leighton James, who gave the Welsh the lead, which they keep to half-time on a ground where England have only once lost, and that was back in 1882. For space on the terraces. The youngsters, though, I think being asked to get off the roof. For only the second time since Ron Greenwood took over, England start a second half on the wrong end of the score. This is 26th match, and he hasn't been beaten in any of the home internationals since he's been in charge. There's Phil Thompson, the England skipper. And I suppose really it goes without saying that England have missed the experience of players like Kevin Keegan and Tony Woodcock, and also the general sort of teamwork that has been so much part and parcel of the English performance in recent games. When you make changes, you're bound to use a certain amount of that. Here's Davies. And the Welsh have made a substitution for the second half, bringing on Keith Pontin in place of the injured David Jones. Barnes this time going at them. Brooking. And here's Hoddle. 4 England players in the box. And Hoddle setting himself. But it's side netting. Just a few people in the crowd wondered for a moment as Hoddle came to his left. Naturally two-footed. The sway created the space, but his shot was wide of the keeper and just into the side netting. And Sansom back now with Cherry. Indication of the heat this afternoon from that low shot. Mariner and Pontin. Taken quickly by Brooking. Barnes, Cherry, was a mishit really. Mariner blocked on the deck by Price, comes out to Hoddle, who makes room for himself and tries the chip. Would have been lovely had he succeeded in terms of quality of football, but when all the bodies were flying around, look at the control of this Tottenham player. Mariner in the battle, it's Price who's on the deck, but as it comes out, his control creates a bit of space for him, but he overhits the chip. Lloyd, down to Ray Kennedy. It's a bit too long. Cherry. And the free kick has been given. Well, Leighton James gets up smiling. I think the first challenge by Cherry might well have been a free kick, but I think that James just bounced of his own volition off Brooking. Pontin. Hoddle. We've had an hour of the match and the Welsh lead by 2-1. And here is Leighton James on the break. Walsh up with him. Giles arriving square, and James gets the shot, the good save, and it's going in! And the Welsh take a 3-1 lead after a spell in which England seemed to be getting on top. And credit again to Leighton James, who really shouldn't have been allowed to get in a shot, but did. And in the bundle, the ball going over the line to give the Welsh a 3-1 lead. James taking on Lloyd, who really gave him a lot of space there for the shot, off Clements, and in the battle at the near post, I think it may well have come off Larry Lloyd. But I'm sure that Leighton James will claim it, and there is no question that Wales have a 3-1 lead. Greenwood's team only beaten twice during his reign, but in severe danger of a third defeat and his first in the home international championships. And so far the home international tournament being turned upside down with a victory last night for Northern Ireland over Scotland, and every promise of a victory here for Wales over England. And here's Giles. Didn't run too kindly for him. Well, again, one has to recall the comment at lunchtime of Mike England that his players would have a bit too much pace for the England defence. There's a greater sharpness in midfield, and England have gone back to the form of the latter part of the first half. Good decision by the referee to allow play to continue. This is Giles, and he's going an own goal by Phil Thompson. Own goal by Phil Thompson, there's no doubt about that. And Ray Clements looks up at his skipper. And 4 goals have been put past him. 67 minutes. No chance for the keeper, it was going the other way. And Ray Clements, who's never previously conceded more than 2 goals for England in a match, has now conceded 4. Those of you who might recall the 4-3 against Austria, let me remind you that Ray Clements in that match only played in one half and Peter Shilton in the other. And Phil Thompson is really having a mammoth task as England skipper now. Oh, look again at the goal. Giles getting away from Trevor Brooking, the linesman flagged, the referee played the advantage, and as Thompson came across, it was deflected past Clements, who was going the other way. Kenny Sansom. Comes Sansom. Brooking. Barnes on the far post, Joey Jones covering him at the expense of the corner. Headed the wrong way and then headed out by Keith Pontin in also a rather surprising manner. Brooking, England looking for what would only be another consolation. Wilkins trying to go through, and he was tripped by Peter Nicholas as the referee tried to get himself out of the way. Here's Hoddle. Oh! Supremely well struck, but the wrong side of the post from the referee's viewpoint. This is to be the last clearance. Giles and Sansom. Nicholas. And the crowd rise as Mike England rises, and what for him will be an afternoon he'll never forget, his start to being manager of Wales. Congratulated by the England players, the England manager and his assistants, and Wales have inflicted upon England their greatest margin of defeat since May the 30th, 1964, when England were beaten 5-1 by Brazil in Rio. Really all credit to Wales for a fine performance. They scored their 3rd goal in a period when England seemed to be coming back into control, and from that moment onwards a memorable victory was theirs. How you balance the home international championship against deeds to come is a little difficult to judge, but nothing should be taken away from Wales this afternoon, who are sent back by their manager to take the applause of the crowd. And the first time they've beaten England in Wales for 25 years.